Let's talk about the cost of living in Vietnam in 2026. Here I am in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, probably the most popular city for tourists and expats in all of Vietnam. A lot of people move to Asia for the weather, the food, the nice people, but let's get real here. Most of us come here because of the low cost of living. So let's talk about all the costs that you may incur when you move to a country like Vietnam, specifically here in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. The first thing and the biggest thing you have to incur is the rent. Now, there is a wide range of rental costs. I'm talking about if you want to live in a place by yourself, so you have peace and freedom and you don't have to hear noises, across the wall from neighbors. And this will cost me 27 million Vietnamese dong. You guys probably heard of a much lower number than this. And the reason is 2026, the price have went up. Partly due to the fact that Airbnb is getting banned, condos are becoming much tougher, so there's less available, so supply is lower, but demand is the same or even higher due to the fact that a lot of people are coming home telling their friends and relatives how fun it is and how cheap it is here. Now, if you want something cheaper, you can go for a service apartment or a room within a house. But then you'll hear noises from the neighbor, you can have to share the kitchen, and also privacy. When you go in and out, you're gonna bump into other people as well as the landlord, the cleaner. So if you're an introvert, you don't wanna talk to many people, then having your own place makes more sense. The second most important thing is food. If you live in a foreign country and you're thinking that eating out is gonna cost a lot more than buying grocery and cooking, well, in Vietnam, it's more the opposite. Or at least it's gonna be the same. You won't save much money from eating in versus out. By the time you get all your ingredients, it's gonna cost you 500-600K. And then you bring it home and cook it, and one of the ingredients goes bad, then your whole meal is ruined. So at the end of the day, when you factor out all the costs and all the waste, eating out is actually gonna be cheaper. Now, what if you're too lazy or you don't wanna go outside and eat by yourself? Well, there's always Grab Food, where people deliver the food right to your door, and it's gonna cost you typically 80 to 100,000 Vietnamese dong, plus maybe 10K tip. What I find is whether I'm eating out or cooking at home, I spend around 100K per meal. So in a day, that's 300,000 Vietnamese dong or 9 million a month. Number 3 is transportation. Now, if you rent your own bike, it's gonna be 1.5 to 2 mil a month. And then you have to pour gas in it, which is around 50K to maybe 100K a month, depending how much and how far you drive. But if you live in the city center, I find that you don't have to drive that much. Then you can just take a Grab car or Grab bike and you get around very convenient and fast, and you don't have to look for parking while you're there. Catching a ride from point A to point B is actually quite cheap. It's around 40 to 50K if you're traveling for around 15 minutes. And if you're on a bike, it's even cheaper. But I find that the bike and the car, the difference is not that great sometimes, especially when the app is giving you promotions or a certain hour is going to be cheap. I find that it's almost the same to take the car, so it's much better. And each ride is going to cost you around 40K. So there and back is going to cost you 80K Vietnamese dong. And if you're doing that, let's say 5 times a week, and twice a week you're just walking or relaxing at home or something, and if you multiply that, it's going to be 1.6 million a month. And that's going to be the same as you rent a scooter and then put in gasoline, and even more if you're looking for parking and stuff. Number 4 is water. Most people don't drink the tap water here, so you can order to get delivered to your door. What I do is I just go downstairs and buy the Aquafina bottle, the 5 liter, and then sometimes they have sales going on for the 1.5 liter. That's very cheap. It's going to be like 40K for about 3 liter. But if you're buying a regular price, it's not even that much. It's around 40K for 5 liter. So you can buy a couple of those. It's going to last you for a few days. And every few days, you go downstairs, buy some grocery, and then pick that up. If you're lazy to carry the heavy water bottle, there are different services from supermarket to water companies. You can order them and they can ship it right to your door, and then you don't have to carry the big container in and out. So the cost for the 5 liter water bottle is around 40K, and it's gonna last me 2 days. So multiply by 15 and you get 600,000 for the water cost a month. Number 5 is personal items. So for example, like lotion or toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste. or anything that you need around the house, or maybe pick up some snacks here and there. You're watching a movie, you want some drinks or some snacks. That's going to cost you around 1 million Vietnamese dong a month. It depends on how much things you buy and what you buy, but typically for me, it's going to be 1 million for those miscellaneous costs. Number six is going to be going on dates. If you guys are single, it's going to cost you around 1 million Vietnamese dong for each date you go on to. Let's say you go to a movie theater and the ticket's going to cost you around 150K. So that's like 300K for two people. And then the popcorn, the drinks, and then after the movie, you go out for food. So that's going to be like 400 or 500K, maybe a couple of drinks here and there. So I think an average of 1 million is typically enough for a date. And if you're going out 5 times a week like that, then it's going to be 5 million a week. Number seven is going to be your monthly subs to certain services like YouTube Premium or Netflix or Spotify, whatever you guys have. For me personally, it's going to be 1.8 million, which is almost 100 Canadian. For your cell phone, it's actually quite cheap. Once you get a SIM card from Viettel or Mobifone, then you can buy a plan, like a data plan with some minutes to talk on the phone. And that's going to cost you around 120 to 150 Vietnamese dong a month. Number 9 is the gym. So if you guys are renting Airbnb, mostly short term, you're not going to have a gym to work out at. So you need to rent at least 6 months or more in order to get registered into the system. So for me, there's no cost for the fitness center, but if you guys want to sign up for a gym, it's probably going to be like 1 or 2 mil a month, or you can go to the park. There's a lot of workout stations and you can meet friends and work out there for free. Number 10 is clothing. Now, if you guys pack enough clothing, you're not going to need clothing every month. But for me, I like to get a new outfit here and there. So typically within a month, I will get one new outfit like, pants, shirt, short, a hat, some accessories. But if you guys are shopping a lot or you bring whatever you need for the whole year and you don't need that much shopping, you don't have to include this portion. But clothing in Vietnam is quite cheap. If you want, there's international brands like Uniqlo or H&M or Zara. And those stuff, they're going to be almost similar to what it is in the West. But if you're looking for like local stuff, there's a lot of fake goods and stuff that you can buy just on the street or typical t-shirts. It's going to cost you very low, about 50,000 for a pair of shorts, a hat, or a t-shirt. Even flip-flop is around 80 to 100K. But keep in mind, if you're buying these cheap goods from local areas, sometimes you put in the laundry machine and it's going to go bad. It won't fit anymore. It'll shrink. So you get what you pay for. If you're trying to save money and pay for cheap clothing, it won't last you that long and you have to replace it within a few months. Number 11 is your health plan. So when you guys are traveling, you definitely need some kind of health plan like insurance. For me, it's going to be 950K a month. If you go online, there are some services that will cover you for your travels. And whatever country you decide to move to, you can kind of bring that with you. It will cover you like kind of globally. But if you guys are deciding to stay in one country for a long time, then there are companies that will cover you for that country or city specifically, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. You have a lot more options as well. But for me, it's going to be 950K a month. And also this is worth it because if you guys are living in a country like Canada and it's free healthcare, whenever you need it, doesn't mean that you're going to get a meeting right away. You're going to have to wait in line for weeks or for months, and it's very hard to get an appointment. And even when you have an appointment, when you get there, you still have to wait for an ENT or a dermatologist, whatever it is, getting a checkup, once or twice a year. But if you have an insurance or you just pay up right here to get a checkup, it's going to be much faster and it's not going to be that much more expensive either. Maybe 2 or 3 million for a thorough checkup. On the topic of healthcare, we're also going to talk about teeth cleaning. That costs around 350K for each time you visit. And let's say you do it twice a year, so divide that cost by 6 months, and you're spending around 60K a month. And the service here is incredible. They're very professional. The facility is quite clean, and the people there are pretty skilled. So you don't have to live in a country like US or Canada to get, good dental care. If you're here in Vietnam, the people are well trained and everything is quite modern, and you're paying a fraction of the price. Number 13 is going to be health checkup. So if you guys are going to do a health checkup, like a thorough scan of everything in your body, it's going to cost you around 3 million Vietnamese dong. And if you guys are young and healthy and you're doing that maybe once a year, then divide that by 12 and you're spending 250K Vietnamese dong a month. Number 14 are massages. I love getting massages, and in Vietnam as well as Southeast Asia in general, it's quite cheap. Each time I go, it's going to cost me 460K. And let's say I go about once a week or 5 times a month, that's going to work up to 2.3 million. And then some of them have a wet or a dry sauna. You can sit in there and detox. It's very good for your health. And they are quite professional. A service like this in Canada is going to cost me well over $100. But here, you book an appointment, you come in, and right on time, they're going to serve you. They're going to ask you, what kind of pressure you like, and then serve you a tea and some snack. And you just take your time. After the massage, you can go into the shower and just wash yourself up, go to the sauna and sweat it out, and all that for 460,000 Vietnamese dong. And some places don't even accept tips. So that's an incredible value. And arguably, I think in Vietnam, it's even better than Thailand for massages, even though Thailand is very well known for this. Number 15 is haircut. If you're living in the West, you're spending so much money on haircut. Even a cheap one is going to cost me $15. An expensive one is going to cost me $50 or more. But comparatively, it's going to cost me less than $10 in Vietnam to get a haircut. So that's 150K a month. So if you're getting a haircut once a month, it's only 150,000. If you want an even cheaper haircut, there's a lot of local spots like in D10, D8, D4. Then you can pay like 50K and give them a little tip like 10, 20K. The last cost is going to be your visa run. So you're going to book airplane and hotels. And once you're there, you're going to shop and do some activity. So let's call it $400 for a round flight somewhere in Southeast Asia. And then you're spending about $700 for a hotel for a week. So that's about $100 a day. And then activities and food, I'm going to add another 700 Canadian. So total, that's going to be 1,800. In Vietnamese dong, that's going to be 35 million. So I'm going to do that every 6 months because I have a special visa. So divide the 35 million by 6. That means each month I'm spending around 5.8 million to do visa run. And also add on miscellaneous costs I haven't spoken about, like, to fix your phone. Maybe your bike is broken or needs, maintenance here and there, or hire a cleaner inside your home, or maybe go to a cafe to do work or a workspace or something like that. But that's not a lot. I'll throw in maybe another million Vietnamese dong for that. So total, I'm spending around 50 million Vietnamese dong a month to stay in Vietnam. So in Canadian dollar, that's $2,600. Now that may seem high to you guys, but if you rent a 1 bedroom somewhere in Toronto now, it's going to cost you around $2,600 anyways, not to mention all the other costs on top of it. So I find that just the accommodation to live in Toronto itself, I can use that and basically cover all the 16, 17 costs that I have outlined for you guys in this video. One thing I have to say though is Vietnam prices definitely has gone up. It's different from 2022, 2023. There's a lot of changes in the country, and of course, cost is going to reflect that, but it's still great value compared to Canada, US, or Australia. Are you guys now thinking of coming to Vietnam? And with the cost of living being around 2,000 USD, are you still motivated to come here? Comment below if you guys live in Vietnam and if you think 2,600 Canadian is too much for a monthly expense here, and how much do you spend personally, and what are your strategies to save on expenses. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to someone you care about, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.